everybody. I'm Deb Coviello, the Drop-In CEO, and welcome to another episode of Live Talk Media, where week after week I share insights because I really care about partnering with the C-suite leader to navigate challenges with confidence. And this is sponsored by Media 3L, my media company, where we are focusing on lifting leaders by shining a light on their unique gifts and building the leaders of tomorrow and leaving a legacy. And that's what today is all about. And again, if you've been following me, just thank you. Thank you for the followers on YouTube. We are trying to grow our audience there and on all the other platforms. But again, this is my opportunity week after week just to share some insights with you, have a virtual conversation, whether you're listening to me live or watching me on the replay. Again, I just want to be in service to you because I don't want you to struggle. I know what it was like. I was a corporate leader. It was a lonely place. I struggled not having the insights. I didn't have a mentor. I just kind of slugged through life, and I don't want that to be you. I want to partner with that C-suite leader, that founder, CEO, president, VP of Ops, COO, whatever your functional title is, where you are the decision maker, you are feeling the pain, you know something is not going right. Let me come in and assess or audit your current processes or your people. What can you have to lose? Then you have knowledge or validation about what's going on. But until we actually meet, I want to talk to you about how you spend your day, your weeks, your months, your year, and especially around where you spend your time and energy. So let me just kind of give you some context here about what I'm thinking, and then I'm going to bring it to you a little bit more in perspective. And again, whether you are in the C-suite or you're up and coming, please listen to these insights. I've been there, I've had these challenges, and I, again, don't want you to struggle. So when we think about leadership, I think about three types of leadership modes or lanes that we can be in. And the first one happens to be your tactical leadership, aka whack-a-mole, firefighting. Tactical leadership, it's all that stuff that you have to live and breathe and make decisions in that minute, in that hour, in that day. The business depends on you to be that decision maker. And there's a certain amount of how much time you should be spending in that place, but I won't go there yet. Strategic leadership. I talk about this a lot. I talk about this so much that really this as a leader is setting a course for the future, that when you're not whacking them all and putting out fires, you should be planning for your future, the future of yourself, the organization, your people. Be that leader, set that vision forward, and then what is the roadmap to get there? But we don't talk about this enough, and this is where I see a real gap in those leaders. And again, I've worked with a lot of you in your business, and we start touching on this, but I call this legacy leadership, and it's about spending more time on developing and establishing that next generation leader. So when you're not there, it doesn't really matter as much about, hey, you high-fived, you got that initiative done, you saved the day, you shipped that product to a customer. That is a distant memory. All that technical work at the end doesn't matter, but it's about the lives you touch, the people you develop. So when you leave, you've left a legacy. And before I get back into more of the details, I will share a quick story. I did leave a particular company. I'll use it, IFF, International Flavors and Fragrance, went on to another company thereafter. But I kept my network close, and there was a person who said that when they went into my old plant, they said, Deb, you're all over the place. We see your legacy, the people you impacted. And quite frankly, they said it took a long time before they could kind of erase my memory for the people that I impact and replace with the new leaders. And again, I did try to train the leaders who eventually followed my footsteps. Again, not for my own ego, but to assure that the good work continues, because ultimately it's people's lives, it's your customers' lives, by making sure they are taken care of. So let's get back to this tactical leadership, strategic leadership, legacy leadership, and how much time are you spending in each zone? So let's go to first one, tactical leadership, whack-a-mole, firefighting. A lot of leaders spend 90% of their time there, and maybe they're lucky if they spend maybe 10% of their time in strategic leadership. Yes, we rolled out that initiative at the beginning of the year. We rolled it down the hill for everybody to execute mid-year. We're kind of on target. End of the year, gee, we didn't deliver. Let's make this an 18-year roadmap. Strategic leadership, maybe you spend 10%. You need to spend more. And then there's the legacy leadership. How often do you start your one-on-ones with your direct reports? And by the way, do you have a one-on-one with them on a monthly basis, quarterly basis? And oh my, don't do it just when you have performance review time. These are the times you should be having discussions with the people first about how are they feeling? What skills do they need to be developed? Giving them feedback, and then start talking about the strategic work or the tactical work. How much time do you really spend in legacy leadership? Probably close to nil. But if you're the leader that I often like to work with, you know this is important. And so honestly, when you think about leaders today, if I just take a broad swath at it, generally they're spending about 60% of their time in the tactical work, 30% maybe if they're lucky in the strategic work. And yeah, they put their best try forward in the 10% working on legacy. If you do that, you're never going to achieve peace of mind. And peace of mind, lest I remind you, is a state of being when your customers say you are the favorite to deal with. People are humming on all engines. You can go on a vacation knowing your frontline leaders and people delivering closest to your customer are going to take care of things. That's peace of mind. And if you don't have this, keep listening. I propose to you really that you should be spending about 10% in the firefighting mode. You have a lot of technical knowledge, you have a perspective from guiding the ship. Sometimes you do need to be brought into the firefighting mode 10% of your time. And now I propose you need to spend closer to 30% or more of your time in strategic. Some people will say more, but the top of their pyramid is only strategy. So you got to be at least 30 to 50% constantly developing and working on strategic initiatives that are going to move the needle forward to where you want to be from A to B at the end of whatever time period. That pretty much makes sense to you. Sometimes it's hard to stay on track, but that's where you need to be spending your time. But this is where I deviate from probably most thought leaders. You probably should be spending 60% of your time on developing the leaders of tomorrow. Now, you might say, well, that's part of my strategy. But I want you to ask yourself deep down inside, are you really giving the time it is due to develop those leaders, knowing that maybe in a couple, 3 leaders, if you move on to something different, they're going to take over and they're going to do it in their own way. But the business is intact, the processes are sustained, and your customers are still happy. So I want to put this in context a little bit. I propose 10% firefighting, 30% or more in the strategic work, and tip the scale closer to 60% in investing in people. Now, I'm going to give you 2 examples of where I actually worked with an individual and then also with a company, just so you know I have some experience here. I've seen it, and that's why I'm talking to you now. I had an individual who worked for me. They were 100% in firefighting mode, spending very little time with their customer. Again, we were in the quality space. And when we had time to dissect their work on what was urgent, what was important, what should they be doing, what should they not be doing, how could I help them tip the scale from firefighting and spending more time with the customer? I'll tell you, at the end of the year, when they spent more of their time serving the customer, knowing the other work got done, and maybe by other resources, they were quite frankly very happy. The customers were happy. We were becoming strategic partners with some of the customers. So we were in service to our customers, which was very strategic. Tactically, we moved the work away that they shouldn't be doing so they could focus on their zone of genius. And gosh darn it, they eventually left the company that I worked for after I had left, but now they're in a leadership role. And so we've left a legacy on that person, and now they are in service to customers at a higher level role. It happens to be in another environment, but their legacy has been impacted because we invested a little bit of time in that person so they could be at their best doing their work in service to customers and not in firefighting mode. Now, a client of mine that I worked with, They brought me in at a time where things were not out of control. Thank goodness. I want to come into your company when things are not out of control, but you're venturing down a path that you have uncertainty and you don't know how to get to the end game. That's a perfect time to bring me in. Now, the project, we delivered on the project with great success. But in the process, as we looked at the people skills to sustain the business, it became quite clear one of their really, really important floor support people didn't have all the skills for the new current state. Do you get rid of them? No. There's 30, 40 years of tribal knowledge there. You don't get rid of a resource like that. Can you develop them? Can you evolve them? Maybe. Or think creatively, how can we put other skill sets around that individual so they can continue to deliver on executing the production plan and start bringing in maybe some newer people that have skills in technology or in communication and enrich the leadership team, not just a particular individual. And also, by the way, the leader I work with, we brought people that were kind of young, that believed in the same passion, loved the environment of learning, being in a small company where they knew they'd have a lot of responsibility, accountability, and a lot of learning opportunity. What a wonderful environment to start developing these people early so they become the next generation leaders. And by the way, along the way, we worked with the leader so that they would spend more time not just working on the business, but also spending more time in leadership development, hiring the right leaders from the outside for critical positions. Again, I've had the opportunity to be able to step back and look at this business grow, and it's a much better state. And I can see the legacy that it's going to leave on their customers and also the people in the organization. And so I've seen it. And if you feel that way, that there is a better way of getting out of the tactical work and you'd like to move more into that strategic work or move more into the legacy leadership, I want to ask you, is this you? Is this you? Are you scratching your head and saying, God, she's talking about me? And how do I get out of this mess? If you happen to be a little bit of chaos now, I don't want you to be in that place. So could sometime us having a conversation, maybe have me come in and do an audit of your business processes, and in the process have conversations with your leader to either validate they need some development or provide you insight that maybe they need some development in order to maybe sustain some of the improvements we want to make together. What would hold you back from doing such an audit or an assessment? And at the end of the day, it's a worthy investment I propose to you. And again, I've been in your place. I've been in a place of just scratching my head and how can I get out of this hamster wheel and whacking them all. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be in a better place. I want you to have peace of mind. So if you're smart, let's have a conversation. But until then, reach out to me on my website, dropinceo.com, DROPCEO.com. There's a contact page. You can reach out to me. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my sandbox. I'm the one responding to you. There's no VA there. I'd love a conversation with you to talk about what's possible. And I'm sharing my email address. Hopefully I don't get spam. Deborah at coviellocm.com. That's DEBORAH at Coviellocm, COVIELLOCM.com. Married a good Irishman. and reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. So that's a wrap. If you like this, follow me on YouTube. Become a subscriber for more insights, video shorts, more interviews. We are beefing up that media company and providing so many resources for you, not only you as the C-suite leader, but also the leaders of tomorrow, because I want them also to have the skills to be able to navigate with confidence. So I'm wishing you well. And what I want to do is close with, we are here, myself and others, to lift you up by shining a light on your gifts and partnering with you to be that leader and leave a legacy. Lift, light, and lead. The new CEO playbook coming out in 2025. That's a wrap. Deb Coviello, the Drop-In CEO. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to working with you and wish you much success. Take care.